What up, sixth graders? So, it's been a long time that I haven't recorded a video. We're going to start our new unit. Obviously, we've started the new semester. With that, we are starting to learn a new topic. The current topic that we're currently learning is all about rates. We talked about ratios, unit rate, and now we're delving into what a rate is. This topic is extremely important for you as a sixth grader because you're going to need that topic, or you're going to learn the same topic next year when you're in seventh grade. And then following in eighth grade as well, you're going to need this as well. Because in eighth grade, instead of calling these problems rates, we're going to be calling them slopes. So eventually, you're going to notice that the slope and rate means the same thing, but it's a similar way of how to solve the problem. So today, I went over how to solve rate reasoning problems using proportional relationships. And I started off the topic by going over how we learned how to do this when we were working with percents. So let's go over some of these problems. And I'm currently doing some of the problems that are due for homework. So if you have the worksheet with you, I'm going to go ahead and do numbers. I'm going to try to do the hard ones. I'm looking at numbers 6, 8, and 10. So looking at number 6. So it says, Mr. Hernandez needs, well, before we even start, let's go over the difference between a unit rate and a rate. So when we're talking about a unit rate, okay, unit rate is a special type of ratio, okay? A unit rate is a special type of ratio. A unit rate is a comparison between two quantities, where one of the quantities has to be equal to 1. If you speak Spanish, the word unit sounds like uno, which is, like I said, number 1. So unit rate is a comparison of two quantities, where one of the quantities has to be 1. Then you have a rate. Technically, I should have put the rate here. So a rate is another example of a ratio. A rate is just a comparison between two quantities, like gallons and hours, miles per hour, beats per minute. Do you hear that? They're two different units. That's a rate. We could transform that rate to become a unit rate by making one of the quantities equal to 1. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing right now when we're solving these problems. So, let me read the problem. Mr. Hernandez needs expo markers to write on the whiteboard. Staples charges $28.80 for a 12-pack of expo markers. What is the unit price per pack for each pack of expo markers? So the first thing I would do is, obviously I'm dealing with different units, right? If you're looking at this, I'm talking about money and I'm talking about markers. Money and markers, they're different units. When you're talking about different units, that means we're talking about a rate. So what I would do is I would set up my proportion. So $28.80 for a 12-pack. Okay? Let me check if it's recording. So once again, this is an example of a rate. The reason why it's a rate is because we're dealing with money and packs of markers. Money and packs, they're different units. That's why it's called a rate. A lot of students are like, well, this is a unit rate. It's not a unit rate because none of these quantities are 1. So if one of these quantities would have been 1, like for example, this would have been 1, then this is an example of a unit rate because one of the quantities is equal to 1. Or I could have changed this one. Obviously, this is not realistic. If it was, I would be buying a lot of packs of markers. 12 packs for $1. That will be a unit rate because one of the quantities is equal to 1. But in this case, we just have a regular rate. Okay? Okay. So the question is asking you, what is the unit price? Unit price per pack for each pack of expo markers. So what is the price for each pack of expo markers? So when they say each pack, they're actually referring to only one pack of expo markers. So what I would do is, I only want the cost of one pack of expo markers. I only want one pack. Okay? Why, Hernandez, why did you put the one pack under here as opposed to over here? Why is this wrong? The reason why this is wrong is because the units have to go together. So packs go with packs, money has to go with money. And not only that, in the problem, they ask you, how much does one pack of markers cost? So this is what we're looking for. And this is what I refer to like when we work with percentages, right? So I look at this. I start from the top. Is there a way I could go from a 12 to a 1? And it is. You could by dividing by 12. If I do it to this right side of the proportion, I could do it to the other side as well. Balance it out. So that will be 12. So then the only thing I have to do is $28.80 divided by 12. A lot of you guys are like, well, I don't know how to do it. Yeah, you do. Last semester we taught you how to divide decimals, and if you forgot, watch the video from last semester. So this one right here, the top number is your dividend. That's the one that goes inside your division box. While this one right here is your divisor. And I'm just going to go over simple division. 12 goes into 2, 0 times. 12 goes into 28, 2 times. So that will be 24. Subtract, drop a 0. Drop an 8. 12 goes into 48. 4 times. 48. And there it is. A lot of you guys said, oh, the answer is 2.4. We're talking about money here. There's no such thing as $2.4. So technically you should have dropped the other 0 down here and you would have found out that it's actually $2.40. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. One pack of markers costs $2.40. What you have to do is write it in sentence since it's a word problem. So you write one pack of markers cost $2.40. This right here, this piece right here is called your unit rate. You just found out your unit rate. Why is it called your unit rate? Because one of the quantities is equal to 1. This top one right here, this one at the top, is called your rate. The reason why that's your rate is because they have different units. Okay? So that's how you figure out these problems. They're actually pretty easy. Another method that I showed you was using a tape diagram, which I'm going to record a video on that pretty soon. So let's go to the next problem. Okay, so I'm going to redo number 4. Laura buys 6 pounds of chicken for $24.48 at Food for Less to make chicken parmesan for dinner. What is the cost per pound of chicken? Let me read it again. Laura buys 6 pounds of chicken for $24.48 at Food for Less to make chicken parmesan for dinner. Wow, they're having an Italian feast, I guess. What is the cost per pound of chicken? So first thing I see is $24.48. Okay, $24.48. And, well, 6 pounds. Honestly, to tell you the truth, it doesn't matter. You can put the money here and the pounds here. As long as you know the process, you do the process correctly, you'll get the right answer. But I'll just write honest. Look, I'm going to show you that if I write pounds here, I still get the right answer. Just remember, be consistent. When you're working with rates, the units need to match, okay? So I get 6 pounds for $24.48. What is the unit? What is the cost per pound of chicken? Per pound of chicken. Per pound means I only want 1 pound of chicken. So if you do this, that is wrong. Remember, when we're working with rates, the units need to match. Money with pounds doesn't make sense. So I need to put that pound over here. I want to find out how much does 1 pound of chicken cost. That's my missing value. Easy. How did I go from start from the top? How do I go from a 6 to a 1? Well, I could divide by 6. Correct. Then that means I could do the same thing over here. Divide by 6. So let's divide by 6 to figure out how much 1 pound costs. This top number will always be your dividend. That will be your divisor. Shoot up that decimal at the top. There it is. 6 goes into 2, 0 times. Let's keep on going. 6 into 24 is 4 times, which is 24. And this is where a lot of you guys messed up. You forgot to bring, when you do this, then you bring down the 4. Then you ask yourself, how many times does 6 go into 4? 0. So I'm going to put a 0. 0 times 6 is 0. 4. Drop an 8. How many times does 6 go into 48? 8 times. A lot of you guys today in class said it was $4.80 because if you did that error right here. So I already found out how much 1 pound of chicken costs. 1 pound of chicken costs $8. $4.08. So I'm going to write it in a sentence. 1 pound of chicken. That's some expensive chicken, I can tell you that. Cost $4.08. And you're done. Once again, let me go over vocabulary. This top part right here is called your rate. The reason why this is called your rate is because they have different units. This bottom one right here is called your unit rate. The reason why this is called your unit rate is because you have a value of 1 in one of the quantities. And you're going to find out in the future videos or in the future lessons that the unit rate will help you solve almost every single problem when you're dealing with rates. Okay? Let's do one more. I'm literally doing the hardest problems, guys, in your worksheet. So if you think this is not hard, that means your worksheet should be pretty easy. Okay. Let me do number 9 because I did a typo on that number 9. So it says, Jenny is a chemical engineer for UCLA. She earns 262. There's a typo. I made a typo right there. It should say $262 for working 4 hours at her job. How much does she get paid each hour? Okay, so Jenny's a chemical engineer. Wow, you have to study a lot if you want to be a chemical engineer, but everything's possible. She earns $262. Okay, she earns $262 for working 4 hours. She works 4 hours. Okay. That is called a rate. The reason why this is called a rate, once again, is you have hours and money. They're 2 different units. The question is, how much does she get paid each hour? How much does she get paid each hour? If I only want each hour, that means I only want 1 hour. I want to find out how much she gets paid for 1 hour. And, once again, you have to match the units. So I want to figure out how much she gets paid per hour. That's my missing value. Okay. So I start from the top. How do I go from a 4 to a 1? Why divide by 4? So I have to do it to the other side. Divide by 4. Okay? Divide by 4, divide by 4. So then let's do 262. That's your dividend. The top one will always be your dividend. This side one will be your divisor. Okay? I always like putting a decimal just in case I get remainders. 4 goes into 2 0 times. 4 goes into 24 6 times, which makes it 24. Drop a 2. 4 goes into 22 5 times. Makes it 20. And that's the reason why I put decimals. You see that? I don't want remainders, but I know that I could drop zeros. 4 goes into 20 5 times. Please do not say that she earned $65.5. We're dealing with money. There has to be a number here. And yes, you got it right. It's actually a 0. So she gets paid $65.50 for working as a chemical engineer. Let me just double check my work. Minus 24, that's 2, drop a 2, 5, 20, drop a 0. Yeah, 25. Yeah, $65.50. So that's right in a sentence. In 1 hour, she earns $65.50. Let me go over vocabulary because vocabulary in math is extremely important. This top section right here is called a rate because they're different units. While this bottom section right here, this guy right here is called a unit rate. The reason why that's called your unit rate is because one of the quantities is equal to 1. So that's pretty much how you figure out the unit rate through proportional reasoning. Proportional reasoning is this whole idea that if I do something to one side of this side of the proportion, I also have to do it to the other side. Okay, so that's how you figure out unit rate using this method. On the future videos, you're going to find out how maybe it's not going to be that easy to figure out unit rate, or maybe I'm going to have to figure out the unit rate in order for me to solve something else in the problem. But that's in the future videos. And that's it.